If you make a tutorial, the video ends. Blender. Now I know this is an old challenge, but there's a reason why I picked it. So if I make a Blender tutorial, the video ends, and you guys might be wondering, why did you pick an old challenge? It's because I've started learning Blender once more. And what's the best way to learn something and make sure you retain all that information is by actually teaching. Now, is this gonna be the best Blender tutorial in the world? No, obviously not, because I myself am learning and I wanted to make sure I remember what I learned by teaching other people. Like I said, the best way to retain knowledge is by teaching other people. So, welcome to a Blender tutorial. Today we're going to make a snowman. Now, when you look at the screen, you might be like, holy shit, there's so many stuff. And don't worry, I will try my best to guide you through from turning this little cube into a snowman. And first of all, let's learn the basics and controls. So if you have your mouse, you can press the middle mouse button to rotate. Whoa, look at that. Why don't you try along too? Because the best way to learn is by teaching and also repetition. So press and hold your middle mouse button to move your screen. And that's how you move the screen around, okay? Now, first, do you see that little cube is highlighted in orange? Yes? To move an object is by pressing the letter G. Now, your mouse cursor does not have to be on the cube. It can be anywhere on the screen. As long as the object is highlighted in orange, you can press the letter G and it'll move. Look at that. If you want to confirm the placement, all you got to do is left click and it confirms the placement. If you don't want to do that, you can press Ctrl Z to undo. Now let's press G one more time to move the object. Now it's gonna move around. But let's say I don't want to move this object. All you have to do is right click and it'll simply cancel the movement and place it back wherever it was. Oh, but Parashock, what if I want to move it in a certain axis? Well, first of all, let's just try pressing G. You see how it moves around? It depends on your POV. But if you just want to move on an X axis, Y axis, or Z axis, you could press on those corresponding letters on the keyboard. For example, let's press on the letter Z and it'll be stuck on the Z axis. No matter where I move my mouse, it'll be stuck on the Z axis. What if I press X? It'll be stuck on the X axis, and then Y, and it'll be stuck on the Y axis. Why don't you guys try that, Like I said, the best way to retain knowledge is repetition after all. If you've used Blender before, all of these are very, very basic knowledge, obviously. But I'm just assuming that whoever's watching this video is going to be a very, very basic beginner. So I want to cancel the placement. Again, right click to cancel the placement. So that's the basic movement of Blender for now. Middle mouse button to move around the screen. Pressing G to move around the cube. I'm going to right click to cancel. But what if I want to pan to the left or to the right instead of just moving centered around like this? Well, you can press and hold Shift and your middle mouse button to pan around. Look at that. Now I'm going to refocus on my cube once more. Click on the cube, make sure it's highlighted, and press delete, because we're going to delete that cube. Now we are going to start building our snowman. If you want to add an object, press Shift A. Shift A will pop up this menu, and you're going to go over to Mesh, and let's click on UV Sphere. We're going to build a snowman, so we're going to click on UV Sphere, and voila. Oh yeah, also, you can scroll in your mouse to zoom in, scroll out your mouse to zoom out. Kind of forgot to mention that, but that's fine. But look at this, the very base of the snowman. But it looks so rough, Parashock. I want it nice and smooth. If you want it nice and smooth, all you gotta do is just right click the object and click on Shade Smooth. And look at that, it looks so smooth now. Yes, again, I'm gonna Control Z just to reset it, just to show you one more time. Right click the little circle and click on Shade Smooth, and it'll become smooth like this. Now, that's just going to be the very bottom base of the snowman. Now, what if I want to duplicate it, you say? Well, all you got to do is make sure the circle's highlighted. Shift D will duplicate the object. Whoa, Shift D, again, is to duplicate. But I want to make sure it's right above the other circle. So I'm going to press Z, like I said, pressing Z will make it stuck on the Z axis. Let's just like put it somewhere like kind of above. Anywhere is fine. It doesn't matter. Now, here's the next thing to learn and how to scale the object. You know, how do I increase and decrease the size of an object? First of all, make sure your circle above is highlighted. Now, you're going to press the letter S for scale. And if you drag out, it'll make it big. If you drag in, it'll make it smaller. So yeah, look at that. Like I said before, right click to cancel. I'm gonna press S again to scale and left click to confirm. And if you ever make a mistake and want to undo it, you can always press Control Z. I'm gonna kind of zoom in and I'm gonna scale this down like this, like so. Left click to confirm. Now look at that. That's gonna be the middle part of a snowman. Hopefully you guys are following along. Hopefully this tutorial is not too difficult so far. And again, S for scale, right? So now I'm gonna make the head of a snowman. I'm gonna keep the middle ball highlighted. I'm gonna press Shift D once more. You just have to press it once. And look, I made another duplicate. Now I want to make sure it just moves on the Z axis. So I'm gonna press on the letter Z, like click on the letter Z, and put it right above the middle part. And look at that. And I'm gonna press the letter S to scale once more. Just make it a little smaller. And then left click and confirm. And voila! You have the base of a snowman. Look at that. Now it looks so plain, doesn't it? I know it does. So I'm gonna click off and let's first of all, let's add a hat first, shall we? So click off, make sure nothing's highlighted. I'm just gonna press Shift A, highlight to mesh, and I'm gonna click on cylinder. And I'm gonna press, while the cylinder is highlighted, I'm gonna press G to start moving it again. And I'm gonna press the letter Z, so it's stuck on the Z axis. So I'm gonna put kind of on top of the snowman and left click to confirm. It's too big! Make sure the cylinder is highlighted. Press S to scale and move your mouse inward. And left click to confirm once more. Oh, it was a little too high. Again, press G to move objects and Z to make it stuck. I'm gonna put it right on top of the head like so. I'm gonna kind of zoom in. I'm gonna press Shift and middle mouse button to like pan. Remember that. Middle mouse button to rotate. Shift middle mouse button to pan. Just scrolling in and out to zoom in and out. It looks a little too rough again, so I'm gonna smooth it. Do you remember how to smooth an object? I'll give you like 5 seconds to figure it out. Okay, around 5 seconds passed. Remember, right click an object and shade smooth. And it smooths out that cylinder. Wow. Okay, so that's the base of the hat. I could press Shift A to add another cylinder, but I'm just gonna click on that cylinder and duplicate it. And to duplicate it, Shift D, duplicate. Now, I'm just gonna right click just to replace it. Don't worry, the cylinder's still there. Okay, I'm gonna press S to scale that one cylinder. Now, but I don't want to just scale like big or small. I want to scale it in a certain axis. As I said before, it's the same as the X, Y, Z axis. I'm gonna press on the Z axis to scale it down like so. Don't worry about how weird it looks. And left click to confirm. And make sure that thin cylinder is highlighted. If you accidentally click off it, oh no, how do I click back on it? Look at the right side and click on cylinder 0.001. And then have that highlighted. Press S, and we're just gonna scale it outwards like so. I didn't press any X, Y, or Z, and left click to confirm. And now I'm gonna move the rim of the hat. I'm gonna press G, and then the letter Z to move down on the Z axis and put it down right about so. And voila, you've made the snowman hat. Look how awesome he's looking. Look at that. All right. Why don't we give it some arms, shall we? So first of all, I'm going to Shift A once more and hover over mesh. I'm going to click on the cylinder. Now, here's another thing you're going to learn is rotation. So if you press on the letter R, it'll rotate the object like so. But it's kind of rotating a little weird, right? I'm gonna rotate it. So the green one is Y-axis, correct? I'm gonna rotate it. Wait, that's not the right. That's not the right. I'm gonna press the letter X. I'm gonna rotate it so that it's flat, but it's not getting like, it's kind of too smooth. So if you press Control, it'll start snapping. So I'm gonna snap it 90-degree angle like so. And I'm gonna shade smooth it just ahead of time. Right click, shade smooth. I'm gonna make this longer. So remember, scale, letter S, and then I'm gonna press the letter Y to elongate this just a little more. And then I'm gonna make it smaller. I'm just gonna press S once more and just scale it down. And this is going extra step, but I'm gonna press S again and the letter Y to elongate. There you go. Now I'm gonna position this so it's in the middle part of the snowman. So press G to move. Always remember, and make sure that cylinder is highlighted. Don't forget. Press G, and then the letter Z to make sure it's stuck on that axis. So and right about here is fine. Look at that. The snowman's arm might be a little long, so let's make it shorter, for me at least. So keep it highlighted, press S to scale, and then I'll press the letter Y to scale it down the Y-axis only. And there you go. Look at that, snowman arm done. It's looking so beautiful already. And finally, this might be the most difficult part, quote unquote, but we're gonna put the button. So let's press Shift A again to add. Always remember Shift A to add. I'm gonna put a UV sphere, and this one's gonna be a little difficult. Remember, so I'm gonna move this. I'm gonna press G. I'm gonna move this towards the X-axis a little forward because I'm gonna like try to place it in front of the snowman. I'm gonna put 3. Okay. I'm gonna right click, shade smooth. Press S to scale it down to make it tiny. I'm gonna press G, Z to move on the Z axis. And left click to confirm, always remember. And then I'm gonna press G once more and the X axis. I can only move the X axis and place it nicely in a spot you like. And it's a little big, so I'm gonna keep it highlighted. Press S to scale, remember, make it smaller. And then I'm gonna move it one more time, a little higher. And then there, first button. I'm gonna add 2 more. Do you remember how to duplicate? Make sure the little circles highlighted. Shift D again. Shift D to duplicate, and I made the duplicate. I'm gonna press Z so I could just scale it, not scale it, move it just upward a little bit. Left click to confirm. I'm gonna press G once more, and then X to move it on the X-axis and just lay it nicely right there. Okay. And the last belly button, not belly button, button, Shift D to duplicate once more. I'm gonna press Z to make sure it's stuck on the Z axis. Left click to confirm. And then I am going to press G once more and then X so it's on the X axis. Left click to confirm. And there you go. The buttons are done. Wow. Last but not least, the face and the nose. For the eyes, I'll just duplicate one of the buttons. Again, highlight one of the buttons, Shift D, and I'm gonna move it a little higher up right here. Left click, G, X to move it on the X axis. There you go. And G and then Y axis this time. So I could place one of the eyes on the left side and another eye on the right side. There is another feature where you can mirror it, but that's later on. So this one, like I said, it's just the basics of the basics. All right, let's add one more eye. Shift, make sure the left or right eye is highlighted. Shift D, and then the letter Y to make sure it's stuck on the Y axis. And then left click to confirm. Voila! The eyes are done, ladies and gentlemen. Now, last but not least, the nose. Now, Shift A, over the mesh, and let's go to cone. All right, Let's move this forward a bit. G to move, remember. And X, I'm gonna move it forward a little bit. And shade smooth. Again, right click and shade smooth. And let's see, let's press G and then Z to move it towards where the nose is. It's a little too big for a nose, isn't it? So make sure the cone is highlighted. Press S to scale it down. Scale it down. All right, there you go. Now I want to rotate it so make sure it's pointing forward. So R for rotate. I know we haven't used that much the rotation that much, but still very important. R to rotate. It's not rotating in the right way, so let's press Y to rotate it and press and hold control to make sure it's like snaps on until it is like 90 degrees. 90 degrees. Yes. There you go. Now I want to make sure the nose is on the face after all. So G, Z, let's get that Z axis correct. Left click to confirm. G and X axis to confirm. Use B. Stuck on the Z or X axis. Left click to confirm. And that might be a little too big. So again, highlight the cone. Let's make it a little smaller. But it's so short. I know, it might be too short. So click on the cone and let's scale it. Press S to scale it. But this time press on the letter X to scale it on the X axis. Let's make it long, shall we? Make it however long or short you want. Have fun with this, honestly. And then left click to confirm. And voila! The basic snowman is done. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Now you want to add color. So first of all, go to the top right and click on this part of the scene. Now it's all white, isn't it? Zooming in. So let's click on this circle and click on material, the little red ball looking thing. Click on that. Let's press new. Now you could click on the base color and choose whatever color you want. But I'm gonna keep it white, but the real problem is the belly button. So the belly buttons, I'm gonna make it black. So click, highlight the belly button, not the belly button, the buttons. Click on new, and let's click on the base color and turn it black. And there you go. It's black now. Let's click on another button. We don't have to press new this time. We could just bring up the one we already used on the other button. So click on the black one, and voila. It shares the same color. Click on the button one more time. Click on the little down key. Man, I'm terrible at explaining. And click on the black material. And let's turn the eyes black too. And voila. There you go. Now I want to make the nose orange because, you know, usually carrots as nose. So click on the cone. Press new this time. I'm going to click on the base color. I'm going to make it orange. Voila. And now for the arm, click on the arm. Press new. Click on the color. I'm going to make it brown. Brownish. I'm going to darken it a little more to make it brown. There you go. Look at that. And now, finally, the hat. Since black has already been selected, I'm just going to click down on that. Click on material 2 or whatever the black color is. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There's your snowman. You are done. You have successfully made a snowman. This is my first time ever making a tutorial. And like I said, teaching someone is the best way to remember what you learned. Okay? So I hope you guys enjoyed. That's the basics of Blender on how to add objects, how to move objects, scale objects, and rotate objects. And if you want, you should try making your snowman without this tutorial, and you'll be able to learn like the basic foundation of Blender. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!